and welcome to Magathea Builder Worlds. This is a Necromunda Sump Sea Build. Yes, you heard me, that's right, I'm going back to the Sump Sea to do a build on this particular video. But not only is this a Necromunda Sump Sea build, this is also a build for Star Wars skirmish tabletop games. I wouldn't go as far as necessarily say Star Wars Legion, but they are games that are going to use Star Wars Legion figures, and I'm going to play kind of like Star Warsy skirmish games with them as well, probably with homebrewed rules. And how's this going to be Star Wars as well as Necromunda? Well, it's all down to the Thatos Pattern hab modules from GW. But they're not Star Wars. Well, no, technically they're not Star Wars, but the thing I like about these kits is, well, frankly, I think they're one of the best scenery kits, terrain kits that Workshop have produced, and one of the reasons why I think that is because I don't think they look particularly 40k-y. You know, the 40k scenery is kind of like angular and industrial usually, and it's got loads of skulls on it, and although this is kind of like industrial, this is dirty sci-fi, but it's not covered in skulls and all sorts of other really noticeable, iconic 40k stuff. There are no 40k icons, there's no Mechanicus icons, there's no symbols from other factions from 40k. They just make really great scenery for science fiction games. So I'm going to make some freestanding Thatos Pattern hab modules, but they're going to be on rocky outcrops, rock pinnacles. Why am I doing that? Well, to be quite honest, I'm doing that because the one thing that my Sump Sea board, table, call it what you will, setup is really needing is some big open spaces of sump water. Right, 2 foot by 1 foot sections of sump water that I could put out so I could spread out all that sump terrain. Problem with that is that'll be a super dull video, and I know that people will be really excited about me putting a new Sump Sea build on my YouTube channel, and then they'll be really gutted if they turn up and all it is me kind of like making boards out of bits of plywood with kind of tissue paper and Mod Podge, and that's kind of it. So instead of making a video with just kind of like plain boards, I thought I'd make these kind of individual pieces that I can move around on those boards, use them if I want to, and use them if I don't want to. Also make them in a way that I could pick them up and not use them on sump water, use them on other kind of terrain, and they can be used for Necromunda games or Star Wars games or other kind of sci-fi games, Stargrave, for example. So why am I doing this now? Well, I've just, this last few days ago, done my second live stream. If you haven't seen one of my live streams before, I'd like to think you missed loads, but I'm kind of like learning about live streaming. And it was good fun. 3 hours of me sitting whittling away on YouTube on a Sunday night, and I'm going over to doing one live stream a month to start off with, or full length one, and I think that's kind of like a good fun thing to be doing. It's a nice way to share my hobby. Guarantees I get content out there as well. And in the last live stream I did last weekend, I made this. It's where the idea kind of came from. So this is a XPS foam rocky pinnacle thing with the extended hab unit kind of like built into it in the side of it, which is kind of like good fun, really nice. And there you are. I was really pleased with it. I wanted to make some more. Now when I did this live, I was late. I missed the start of it because I was actually carving this bit here. None of this polystyrene was carved as part of the live stream. That would have been a bit dull live, but I am going to include that in this video, and then the thoughts and putting the whole thing together as well. So where are we before we start then? I have done some preparation. I have 2 pinnacles like this because I have 2 hab units to use and a whole bunch of cack that I'm going to dig through. And right now they look like bits of Minecraft scenery, to be quite honest. I have just used chopped up bits of 50mm thick high density XPS foam. So the first thing I need to do is turn these into rocky pinnacles. You know, the kind of thing, it's kind of classic wargaming terrain, certainly classic Warhammery kind of terrain, rocky mountain kind of stuff, or kind of like Mesa kind of like scenery from wherever the hell that is in America. Help me out, New Mexico, Arizona, that kind of thing, that kind of like classic American Big Thunder Mountain, Walt Disney World, Disneyland Paris, Frontierland kind of scenery works really well. So I'm going to carve these up with my brand new shiny heat wand, because my other one died on Sunday night when I was doing this. And then we're going to make the hab units as well. So what we need to do is come over here. We're going to cut these up first of all and do some sculpting, see where we go with that, and then make the hab units too. So yeah, it's kind of going to be, this is going to be a kitbash. We're going to do some digging through the cack. We're going to do some kind of like scratch building stuff as well. It's quite an interesting thing. So I'm going to bring the camera right over here. Let's do it. Okay, so the rock pinnacles on a hardwood base. I stuck the polystyrene on Sunday afternoon. What day is it today? It's Tuesday now, so it's on good and proper. And I'm really, to start off with, all I'm doing is I'm running my hot wand around the hardwood base to give the shape. What I should have thought about doing, initially what I should have thought about doing was having a bigger base than the pinnacle, so I could have like a jetty or something stuck to it, but I haven't. These pinnacles are going to be the size of the base, but that's fine. I need to keep the top flat though, because that's where the hab unit is going to get stuck, so that I've nearly cut all that out. Alright, there's my basic shape. I've done that with this one as well. Now I'm going to start on the top and just start cutting this into shape, especially when I've got this kind of like flat bit here with that. I might take advantage of that. I'm going to cut up and into that. I think I might, what I need to do is actually stick together a base and find out how big it is, because find out where I can trim to, kind of like here and here, or whether I cut out a bit or whatever. So I'm going to stop for a minute. We're going to put together just one of these bases, because that will give you an idea of how big the rest of the model needs to be. Alright, very quickly then, let's grab the base part of one of these. I'm literally just going to take these two bits off here. I do love these kits. There's so much on one of these sprues, and you get loads and loads of options. It's a really cool kit from that point of view. Now, pricey, mind you. But if you go to an FLGS like Goblin Gaming or Element Games or Wayland, these are all UK ones, of course. Don't know about you where you are in the States, but yeah, a lot of FLGSs, not all, mind you, but a lot will offer discounts on kits like this, 10-20% off even. So you don't have to pay the massive prices that Workshop kind of like charge. Although if push comes to shove, I'd buy them from Workshop too, because I think they're fantastic models. So, you know, and all hobbies are expensive, so get over yourself. But yeah, I like this because obviously I like to scratch build scenery, but some of the shapes you get from moulded plastic and sometimes print stuff is just really difficult to make a scratch build. So, right, I'm going to trim up through experience. I know you need to make sure you really trim the joins, otherwise you get a gap. So just trimming off all that spare sprue material, and these lock together quite nicely, these models. But by doing this, I'm going to have something that I can effectively test fit while I'm carving my rock pinnacles. It's kind of important, really. Right, let's find some poly cement, stick that together. poly cement is by far the best glue to use when you're using these models, because what you'd get is a weld rather than just a bond. It's kind of like a problem. So glue on both sides getting stuck together. Give it a moment for the glue to start working on the plastic, and then put them together. Leave them for a few minutes and you've got a decent bond weld and your model's good to go. Clunk click, every trip, nicely done. Okay. And already we can see that's going to sit on there nicely like that. And this one is a bit more problematic because of the nubby bit here. We'll get to that. I'll decide what we're going to do with that later, but that's fine. That's all going to sit inside there. Right, I'm going to carry on while this is drying, carving some of my rock face. Cool, let's do it. Okay, so here's one of my rock pinnacles then. I have cut out this bit here in the middle because that's going to make it more interesting to look at and paint. Obviously it all needs to be covered in sand, but I'll do that at the end. I've cut, as you saw, a cave into this as well, one way or another. Almost big enough, I think, to get a figure in. I need to find ubiquitous saw lock in a minute. Might just carve a little bit more out of there so I could actually get a figure standing in there one way or another. Getting right in the back was difficult. I didn't want to go all the way through, so I'm using my hot one just to melt bits right at the back here. But that's just going to make it quite an interesting thing to, when it's covered in glue and painted like rock in there, it'll be quite cool. But there are loose bits there. I'm literally digging out with my hot wand or going in there and pulling out. But so the only flat bits of this model now are the two bits on the top, where the hab unit platform will sit like that, and that means I still get to see a lot of the underside of the hab unit platform, which is kind of cool. And I might end up like the other models, sticking the odd kind of like supporting joist or girder or something else in, working that way, sticking out of the rocks. So that's kind of cool. The other one I haven't done yet. Now I'm thinking of taking this down one side, keeping mostly flat bit here. For this one I will cut off this knobbly bit here so it has all of this to stick on. But I think I'm going to have a bit on this side. I aim to have a bit on this side of this model where I can actually come up and have figures stood on it and then go up to the pinnacle here. So for a side profile, I'm thinking kind of, don't know where we're going to be able to see this. Come down. I'm aiming for a relatively flat pot, where it can almost come down to a jetty, so I'm going to cut away a lot of this bit here, keep the flat bit up top. Let's give it a go, see what happens. I'm now at the point where I have, to some extent, cut out these two rocky pinnacle outcrop things. They go along with this one that I did the other night, which has got a platform on it already. I've got some other platforms coming. This is the one I've stuck together. So on this one, it's going to sit quite nicely just here like that. See that? That's kind of cool. I can't decide if I might actually put a column bit in the middle going down into the middle bit here, because it will make an interesting feature there. And on this one, another one of these is literally going to sit on the top of that, and I'm going to have to cut out, I think, the knobbly bit here to get a much better purchase on the top of that. So that's the fiddly bit done. Now it's kind of like the fun bit where I get to actually kind of like start building. Now I've got two complete Thatos quality S3 English there. I've got two complete Thatos Pattern hab modules that I'm going to use for this. This one is still sealed up actually. But the other thing I've done, because when you make this, so here's the other one in the box. But the other thing I've done is I've already gone digging through the cack. Actually, what I didn't really do was I didn't do proper digging through the cack. What I did was in this stack of crates over here, there is one down the bottom which has got loads and loads and loads of sprues. You know, half-used sprues, this kind of thing, in kits. And what I did last night was I sat down in front of the TV in the living room, watched an episode or two of Andor, again, because it's such brilliant, amazing TV, and I found all of the sprues from previous Thatos kits and the Necromunda Marketplace sprues, and I chopped everything off. So I can do digging through the cack for this model, or these models, but I've got very specific cack to dig through, which is good news. Apart from anything else, when I was digging through the cack, if you watched my live stream the other night, you'll notice that I was banging on and moaning and complaining about the fact that when you get a Thatos hab unit like this, you only get, the model has got 4 holes, and you only get 2 wally sections, right, that plug the holes. And if you get the extended Thatos hab module, this bad boy, it's got 6 holes, and you still only get 2 doors, walls, things to plug it. And you know, if you're living in the ash waste, and storms and dust and all that is a problem, you'd expect to have a few more walls, wouldn't you, really? And for me, living in kind of like having this in the kind of like sump, kind of like Sea World kind of environment, storms and wet and water again are going to be a bit of a problem, and I want more walls. But what I was delighted to find was actually I found a sprue kicking around in my sprues box that had 2 extra walls that hadn't got used on another model. I was very, very pleased about that, so I can actually kind of like have more solid models. So in here I've got tons and tons of the girders and bits, the stanchion things, and loads of the kind of the wire strops for holding everything up. I've got a few bits of walkway. There are the little platforms that go on the side of the model. Lots of ladders. Ladders are very handy. He says, not being able to find a single one. Come on, you little feckers, where are you? There you go. Little bits of ladders. The cool thing about the ladders on this is the fact they're all in little different bits and pieces. So you, there are also lots and lots of aerials and antennae, and a lot of them are they're very Star Warsy, really. They're kind of cool, so that's going to help with the a Star Wars feel to this as well as a Necromunda feel. And then there are lots of bits of the canopies you get with the Thatos models, which is nice, and then lots of shop bits as well. I don't know how I'm going to use those, if they're going to use them at all, but yeah, there's lots I can play around with. The first thing I need to do really is get on and make the standard kind of building bit. What I've done, especially with this one, is I've cut a platform out here, so I'm going to be able to have a jetty or whatever else. They need ways up into the actual the hab units. This one got a cave cut into it. The one I did in my live stream the other night, the extended one, is great. I'm really happy with this. A couple of issues. I've cut more out of this side. This side's got lighter. I'm going to have to weigh down this side of the model, because if I put things on the other side, it tends to tip it over, because it's very kind of like, you know, off centre now. So I'm thinking of cutting some slots in the polystyrene here, sliding something like 2p's or something inside. So it's dirt cheap, but kind of like metal weights that will help hold the whole thing down. I'll have to see. But yeah, this again. The hab unit is quite high up, and there's no specific way to get up into it. I might have to have some kind of ladders and platforms. I might have to have a ladder come down here to a platform here and then down. Can't see that thing. I might have to have
the president has always supported maximum transparency, a healthy diet of...
I think I'm going to have ladders up from the water here to a platform, and then ladders up to this platform, or ladders up to this platform, to get people actually into the structure. But that will need thinking about. But yeah, first of all, I need to just build some Thatos Pattern hab buildings. So I think I'm going to start with, which one should I start with? I'm going to start with one for this. The only reason why I have to think about one or the other is the fact that this one I'm cutting this off, and for here, and for this one I'm not going to cut this off. I'm probably going to add a pylon bit into it. So let's get on and make some hab units. Let's just get the kit out and do it. Right, so while I'm waiting for the hot glue to warm up, just thinking about this, I'm going to probably, for fucking hell's sake, it's because I'm messing around with the model when it ain't dry. I'm going to stick this, not going to stick this bang in the middle, I'm going to stick it over to one side. And then I think, because what I've got to think about is how you get from the water surface up to the hab unit. I'm going to have some kind of jetty here, or some kind of landing. Then probably with a platform out the side here, with a set of stairs or a ladder that goes up there, and then another ladder that goes up to this flat level here, which then can have a ladder of some description up to the front door of the house. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Yeah, don't know how though. Glue's still dry weighted, so. Quick dig for the cack. Dig, dig, dig. We dig, 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 dig. So a platform like this, I'll cut out the sitting there, maybe. Yeah, don't know. Right, Let's go for the glue. Take house. You can do it that way, man. Stick on model. Stuck. Leave to dry. Successfully put this hab unit on top of this pinnacle, and I've put in the pylon to keep it upright, hot glued that in, and that looks cool. And I've done the same with this one, stuck this on. And now I'm kind of like fiddling around with platforms and bits and pieces, but I'm also continuing to work on the extended hab unit that I did in my live stream last weekend. And I'm thinking that, yeah, what these need is more stuff. It's alright being raised up in the air, but the sun port's down here. So I'm thinking of what I'm going to do is I've got one of these half platforms, which I am going to hot glue on here on the side, and that hot glue is then up going to get painted, will get sanded and painted and look like the rest of the stone and the rest of it. I think that'll work quite well. And then there'll be a jetty here, which then makes sense. I can have some kind of way up this side of the model. I think a ladder up here, ladders, and that, you know, that'd be kind of neat. So gonna get the hot glue gun out. Yes, I am. Plug it in anyway. I'm going to experiment with that to see what it looks like. One of the things with this particular model is now I've carved all this out, it's light over this side, so I need to weigh it down one way or another, make the whole thing more stable. This might help with that. Otherwise, my other thought is I might cut some slots in this and put some 2Ps down here into the model, which might add a little bit of weight to it, especially when it's kind of like got models in it and you're playing games. But yeah, so I'm going to have a jetty at the water level, which I think will be cool. I'm going to heat that up, and now I need to work while I'm doing that on these bad boys, how they're going to work. So I've got the old platform, it's going to sit like here. There's a lot of space between here and here, mind you. I'm not quite sure what's going to go on there. How the hell I'm going to get people up. I mean, I don't have to. Apart from the fact, I think it would look cool. You know, I've got a number of these platforms, so I could have one that's kind of like sitting here. That would work. And I could have another one here. So you go up, round. See if I can find some other staircases. I've got more walkways and things coming, I hope. Yeah, fiddle fiddle. Time to go digging through the cack. Digging through the cack. Digging through the cack. Cack, 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 cack. I might actually have to make use, like I did last weekend, of this idea of bits sticking out of the rock to give me extra platforms and stuff. But that'll be really cool looking. That'll give really cool looks to these stone pinnacles that need to support these hab units. and I've got absolutely loads of this kind of thing, and the jetties that do that. So that's real possibility. They work really well sticking them into the side of this model, so I could do the same to support the odd platform, I suppose. Look quite cool. I could do that on this side easy, you know. Let's have a fiddle. Right, so I'm now waiting for my glue to completely set. Whoop, hot glue. But I have, I think, successfully managed to stick this platform to the base here, which is now going to give me a nice jetty, which give me a way to work up. I've stuck two of these together, and I'm now taking a saw to it, like I did the other night, to cut off one side. And because, for those of you who didn't join me for my live stream, where the hell were you? Going to be another one end of December, but what I did was I cut off the end of one of these, and then my plan with this is to, where I've cut this cave hole, I'm going to stick that actually in there, secure it with a bunch of hot glue, I think, so it's going to be coming out of the side of the cave, and this will then give me an upright, which again I'm going to be able to put a platform on here, I think, of some description, and some cabling up to it, and that way there I'm going to be able to have a landing platform here and a platform here and then another platform there. Kind of starts to make sense how you get up into these kind of things, because while characters are safe up in their spire homes, they serve other purposes as well. So look, a load of hot glue in there. I'll stick that right in there, good and solid. Interested, I haven't used hot glue in Necromunda models before, so I'll pack in some more glue around the side. It's kind of messy using hot glue. What will happen with this is that I'll disguise it all by covering it with sand when I texture the whole rock face. So I'm just going to leave that in there for a minute. And then we won't really be able to tell that it's glue, it'll all just be part of the rock, I hope. But leave it that way for a minute because it needs to cool. Okay, so my girder is stuck in quite nicely here now on the side. Got a bit of seepage there. Gonna trim that off a bit. It hasn't completely set yet, mind you. I'm going to put this little thingy dude in there, because that pretty much then levels up these two bits. Because I found this bit of walkway, which I really like, I'll put on kind of here. Might have to level up the back a little. Again, that might need a bit of hot glue putting in there, but that will give me a cool platform out the side there. Again, that's a way of connecting different bits. I can have a ladder up here, and then there's got to be a way out to get inside this thing. Yeah, that's coming on. So look, it's still saggy because I think more than anything else, the heat is still kind of affecting it on the inside, so I've still got to let that cool off. What I might have to do is actually go to bed and let it cool down put it to one side and get on with another one. Drop that in there. It definitely needs still something to level it up. Over here, the cat box is not enough room on the workbench this evening for the cactus. There's a little nubbin, that'll do. Right. Drop that into that. I think then that is going to be the same height. Yep, still looking very, very Star Warsy. And this is then going to sit there, which means I can. Yeah, now the height of the back is higher than the front. Yeah, if I can. I can. What's that? Polystyrene cement that in place onto the girder, and then backfill with some hot glue. When that's good and welded on, and then I can decide whether I want to keep these hooky on bits. I don't need to keep them. There's nothing for them to hook onto. Okay. Now at the cool bit, I've got most of the models assembled. I'm now just getting to add all the details. So on the live stream video, unit, I've now added, as you saw, this bit down here. This will need sanding over, but that's all good and solid now. So there's a jetty there. I've added a little platform on this rocky outcrop here. I've trimmed off a bit of the polystyrene here because I think I'm going to have a ladder going up there. And I can't have a ladder off. Where'd it go? I'm going to have another ladder going up here. Got to have a way of getting up to these places. One of the towers that I was working on already, I've now cut in to the side of the tower here, this lower platform. Still no way up to that, but you know, hover vehicles, other things, ships coming up, putting up ladders, I suppose. I might have a ladder that could be lowered down. And the other thing, of course, is the fact that I've got other platforms. So now we've got this platform here like this. And I'm going to be able to have kind of walkways that will attach one to the other. This one is now solid in here on the side, and I've hung this down here now so I can put on a canopy. It's one of the cool canopies that you get in these kits. Here we go. So the canopy bit is going to attach on here, and then these poles will stick up on either side like this, which is kind of cool. I can stick that all in place, and that will go there, which is kind of neat. And somewhere I've got there we go. That's about just for a minute. What's really frustrating about these kits are absolutely brilliant. All the components are bloody amazing. There just sometimes aren't enough of them. So you get these cool suspended platforms that hang down lower down there, and there's a bit of a barrier that would do that. That's quite neat. I like that. So that's going to do that. It's going to fall off if I turn this too much. That's kind of cool. I like this. I put a wall in, door section, wall section into this model. Definitely going to have another. Whoops, there it goes. Probably here. These just click in place for a minute. I am going to stick it in, but that's a found spares. Well pleased. That's going to sit in there. That means then I've only got this one open here and this one open here. Now, I can still do with having it closed off a little bit. Haven't worked out what I'm going to do there, but more closed off is better. So I'll put a doorway in there. I'm going to put another doorway in this one, and then the only open bits are coming out onto platforms one way or another. And I'm going to have a platform of some description up this end. I'm not going to put a platform on this. I don't want to tip it over anymore, no way. But platform or gateway or doorway or something over there means you'll be able to see into it and be able to bring pit models outside. It's quite neat. I'm quite enjoying this now. This one I might end up with market stalls or something down here on the jetty, or fuel tanks or something, or I might even make little scattered terrain bits to go on there. But it's quite cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to fiddle with more details, dig through the CAC and stick various other bits and pieces on. I'll give you a bit more of a rundown when I've done some more in a mo. The absolute thing I'm loving about working with polystyrene again is the fact you can melt it and crush it and whatever else. So here, platform, want to fit it on there, poking the platform nubbly bits into the polystyrene to make a template, taking a heat wand, making holes suitable for nubbly bits to go into, should then enable me to fasten platform to polystyrene. Hell yeah. I like it. Gonna get some hot glue under that. Now I could go ladder here, ladder there. Not bad at all. I've now stuck on this canopy. I'm going to definitely go for another canopy on that one. Okay. Now, I'm at the point with these models where I could just keep sticking more and more detail on, and I'm sure I'm going to stick more and more detail on, but I also want to get them to the point where I could get them on the tabletop fairly soon. Certainly want to get them painted. So the next big job actually is to sand all the XPS foam, because there's stuff like ladders and things that I want to stick on, but I want to stick them on top of the XPS foam rather than underneath it. So I'm going to take all the lids and all the roofs off, put all that to one side. I'm going to get a tub of Mod Podge. Love the Mod Podge. I'm going to get my box of coral sand, and I'm going to liberally wield a paintbrush now. Paint the polystyrene one block at a time. Cover it in sand, starting with, whoops, there we go, the smallest of the four. And then that way we can really get on with these, and I can then paint them at any time I want to. So now I am going to demonstrate to you now the complicated process of putting sand on a piece of polystyrene. I'm only going to do it once, watch carefully, and then I'm going to leave the rest to your imagination. So, dip brush in Mod Podge. Don't be shy, use plenty of it. Paint the Mod Podge onto the XPS foam. Yeehaw. Complicated stuff this, yeah? This is going to do two things, of course. First of all, it is going to apply sand to the whole model. Secondly, it's going to seal the XPS foam, so when we spray it to undercoat it so we can paint it, the spray paint won't eat the foam. It's all good. So the Mod Podge sticks the sand and seals the foam at the same time. Complicated, huh? No, not at all. This is the nice easy bit of making this model. Splot it around. Don't have to be too careful underneath, blimey, if anybody's really been picky about the underside of this model. I might get to the point where I put some wire strops and bits and pieces in here, but I don't really need to. Nice bit of fun, bit of detailing, I suppose. I like this part of the process. I've probably said it before, but what it does is it starts to bring all the model together. It's like an undercoat that covers up the different materials used and all sorts of other things. So this is cool. Okay, there we are. Everything suitably painted. Take box of sand. Take box we're going to pour it into. Pour box of sand onto Mod Podge. Now, this is a really fine sand. There are some small bits in it, but on the whole, this is quite good for doing this kind of job because it's not going to give a super rough texture. It's going to give a rocky texture, but that's about it. Make sure we've done all of it. There's the dog here, of course, because it's my house. Sanded. Got to leave that to dry. So in fact, I'm doing this job tonight. This is a Saturday night, and then I'm going to go and be Father Christmas tomorrow because it's that time of year. And it'll all be dry for me to work with tomorrow night. I don't think you need to see the colour like me Mod Podging the other 3 of these models, do you? We'll just see what they look like when they're done. Okay, good plan. Right, after 25 minutes of sanding, here are my sanded rock plinths, which then I'm at the point really where I could kind of undercoat these and get painting, because I'd like to get these done and on the table. Although I want to keep adding details. So much space and so tempting. All these little gribbly bits like these kind of like windmills and aerials and lights and balconies, and yeah, it's I now have, for this set of models, the one that I made in my live stream, plus these two, plus this little rock plinth with another platform on it, which is kind of neat. It's give me a whole table in its own right, blimey. And I'm going to make a couple of others with those other little platforms on. I'm not going to bore you with the details of those. They're just going to appear on a tabletop at some point. So we're going to get roofs on, finished putting the last few details on. I'm going to get these undercoated and painted, but not tonight because all of this sand, all this Mod Podge has got to go off. So I've got to wait for 24 hours at least before I can do the next bit. Which is good, because I need to go to bed, because I've got to go and be ho 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 jolly cheerful big man tomorrow. Okay, so we're now dry. I have concrete. So we're now dry. I have sand on all the polystyrene, which is great. Which means I could get on and paint this. I'm going to now I've got the sand on, there are some things, some details. I am going to spend a few minutes sticking on over the top. Couple of little bits I'm going to finish off on the hab units, but not masses, because I just want to get on and paint. Problem with a kit like this is you could just keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. There's so many details on the sprue, and there's so many details in my cack boxes. But for the minute, what I want to do is get them done and painted and get them on a table. So I'm going to add the ladders on the outside of the sand and the other bits and pieces that need to go on the cliff face that are going to be a pain to try and sand behind. But then I think I'm going to get them sprued up. Sprued up? I think I'm going to get them sprayed. Get the words right. It's Monday morning. It's a long weekend. First weekend of Father Christmas in done. Only another month to go. So you're going to get these sprayed up and see if I can get them painted. I'm really pleased with them. They're going to look great. I need to make some more spires to house the odd kind of walkway and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's looking cool. So I'm not gonna bother videoing me gluing ladders to the outside of a model. We'll have a look at that when they're painted. But I'm going to go and spray these and get on with it. Alright, several hours after I said let's go and spray this stuff, and I haven't gone and sprayed this stuff because I got carried away with sticking on ladders and then going, oh, I need other platforms. So now this is, look, got ladder, platform, ladder, handrails on barriers. It's all kind of like... My problem is, because I make scenery with a narrative, I also like it to make sense. So I can't build a piece of terrain like this with platforms unless there's a way from getting from this platform to this platform, or subsequently from this platform into the hab unit. I'm assuming that I've left it like this. There is no way to get up here. They could have a ladder lowered down onto the ground, or we'll have other walkways and things butt up to it, so you walk into that from somewhere else, or you know. So yeah, and it's the same with this piece. Handrail, ladder, going up. Actually, there's no there's no ladder from no way getting from here up to here yet, which I also need to sort out. I have, however, put a grill across here so we don't have wall in there, but you can't fall out of this hole with no platform. Of course, scenery is always a compromise. There's always bits you can't do. But now both ends of the big one have got guardrails on their end platforms, so it is starting to make more sense. I have not detailed the inside of any of them, which I probably am going to do, maybe, possibly. And I haven't stuck anything. I have stuck stuff on the top of this one, which I'm beginning to regret. But on the other two models, I haven't stuck anything on because I am toying with the idea of... Where's the thing I was toying with? Hang on. Somehow using the bit that goes in the top of the bottom, the underside of the roof, and sticking an LED in it, and having the kind of like a battery pack and a thing where I've actually got an LED there that will glow in there and stuff. But I haven't worked out how I'm going to power that yet in the thing above. Oh, now I just dropped an LED on the floor. I think I am probably now almost at the point where I'm going to go and undercoat these because I want to get them painted. Because I want to make some more spires, but that's not going to be in this video. Yeah. And I'd like another. Actually, my biggest problem with this is that I wanted a canopy like this one over the end here. The only problem is that part of it has to attach to this bit, which is on the roof, which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, the impatience bug bit, and I got a bit rattled added details. So now I've got to the point where, look, black. I love it when it goes black because it all starts to kind of come together. What I'm going to do now, I think actually, is go paint all this bit metal. I'm going to spray it metal and see how we go. And then I'm going to paint the rest. So I'm going to go back outside now, actually spray this. Okay, so we sprayed. Sprayed them black, and I've also put a metallic spray on them as well. Check this out. The metallic spray will basically save a lot of time, and I could give it a basic paint job, picking out the panels and bits and pieces, but leave a lot of the metal all done, so a lot of the grates and bits and pieces inside. It'll be kind of cool. So I'm going to have a go at painting these, so I can actually get them done on the tabletop. They're looking pretty good. Got the platform painted. I've also stuck together a couple of sets of walkways that need handrails, really, and I'm also making another XPS foam rock spire because it's going to have one of these fellas on it, so this can connect up to some of the other walkway structures. So yeah, we're nearly there. We're going to get the painting done, and we'll see what it looks like. I don't think anybody needs to see me painting scenery. A, my paint jobs are okay. B, yeah, there are loads of other painters to watch. So I'm just going to paint these, and we're going to do the last bit. Cool. So there I was in the living room painting these models like I normally do. I like to paint in here, but painting wargaming figures can be a sociable thing. If I'm sat behind it, she's doing something similar, either painting figures or something else. So there I was, painting away, done quite nicely. Look, here's hab unit number 1 on its rock spire. Alright, that's mostly done. Certainly good enough to go on the tabletop. Little platform on another rock spire. That was doing okay too. The live stream build. Yeah, nice. I'm pleased with that. I haven't put the chimney bit on, and the inside of this I didn't bother, even though I went digging for the cack. I haven't put any detail in it. I'm going to worry about that later. But anyway, there it was, getting along quite nicely, painting all this stuff. And then painting was interrupted by an 84 kilo black Newfoundland, who shall remain nameless, along with her slightly smaller older brother, who both dogs, having very waggy tails, managed to sweep the third unit off the table, and it's now currently in more than one piece, shall we say. And most of it is pretty good as it goes. The actual hab unit itself remains stuck to the spire very well with the hot glue, but there are other bits scattered around. I hadn't started painting that, and now I feel a bit less inclined to do that, really. Bugger it. If I stick all that back together and then carry on painting, it's going to be ages before I complete this model. It is the 1st of December tonight. So I'm calling this video done because I've got other things I want to do between now and Christmas, some more Lord of the Rings bat reps and some other models that I need to be getting on with too. So that's it. I'm calling this to an end. That third one, you'll have to keep an eye open on my Facebook page and other places where it will eventually kind of like surface. I'm definitely going to get it done in the next little while, but I'm not going to wait to make this video until I've got it painted, if you see what I mean, because it's going to take me ages, and I want to get on with other stuff. So that's it, we're done. It's great. I'm very happy with these. I think they're going to look really cool on the tabletop. I haven't got a sump water board out. I've just got my green cutting mat over here. I'm going to put them on here, and I'm going to video with whatever figures I can find. Actually, probably Star Wars figures, because they're around somewhere. I don't know what I've done with them. And we'll see what we get. So, I am dead pleased with these Necromunda Sump hab units. Actually, they'll work perfectly well the way I've painted them. The way I've painted up the rock spires and the fact they're based individually. They work perfectly well as ash waste hab units, as they are supposed to be. But the way I've done it, they're really for the sump. Or watery planets for Star Wars games. Although again, they work perfectly well on a regular tabletop. So yeah, all round, I'm very pleased with them. I think it's a cracking model. I really do. It's just like I said at the start. It's not that 40k. It lends itself very well to other sci-fi. So yeah, they're really cracking little models. Let's have a closer look at them on the table in a moment. Apart from that, all I have to say is thank you very much for watching this Magrathea video. If you have liked what you've seen, if you think these are quite cool, if you think I could do other things with them, I have got a plan. I've got this great idea to do a super extended hab unit, but that's going to need 2 hab units at least to do, which seems quite an expensive project. I'll have a think about that. But if you could think of other things that I could be doing with these, if you like this as a thing, please make sure you leave comments down below. Share this video with your mates. Click like and subscribe and all that stuff. I've been very lax in getting videos out and during the summer into the autumn, but now this is my key video making time. So from that point of view, I hope to get more done. Well, not in December, for Christ. I'm going to get a bit done, but in December, my key thing is the big beard and the big jolly red suited man. Ho, ho, ho. But during the winter time, I get lots done. So keep an eye out for more Sump stuff, more Star Wars stuff, more B&B stuff, more Lord of the Rings bat rips, and more Arcworld stuff. There's loads to come. I'm going to start a new Road to Salute after Christmas as well, because Salute is in April, and that journey is always good fun. So thank you very much for joining me on Magrathea Builder Worlds. Click like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff, and I'll see you next time. Let's go and have a look at these models up close. They're over here on the table. Well, they're not yet. They're there on the desk, but I'll put them over here. By the time I've cut it neatly and edited it, we'll be over there.